Hello and welcome back to Crawltech Labs. I'm Chad. Today I'm going to show you some of the components that I'm going to use in this $150 build-off challenge with Just Try It DIY. I'm not going to be building anything today, but I want to go down some of the parts that I've compiled, and this is where I need your help with. And I'll get to that, but let's get into it. So first, let's lay out some of the parts that I'm going to have in this build. I think I've got everything I need. There's a few things that are not really that important. They'll come into play later, screws, nuts, that kind of stuff. The typical. But this is going to be what the main build is about. Now, again, if you saw my video about the rules, some of these don't or aren't included in the $150 minimum or maximum you could spend, such as the radio. So let's get started with this one first. Many of you know this is the MEUS or Hot RC digital radio. But this one is actually the ME8B. This is the 8-channel version. Now, why did I go with 8 instead of 10? I didn't figure I needed more than 8 channels. Will that come back to bite me? Probably, but that's for another day and another build. We'll see if I ever need more than 8 channels. I doubt it, but you never know. This one will hold 4 model memory, so I can have 4 crawlers or drift cars or whatever on this one. I just need to add another receiver. So that's the first one. So as far as the actual build goes, got most of that in this baggie. Some of the parts that are going to be in this build is a set of MEUS, or MEUS, however you pronounce it, set of pink, super soft 1.3 inserts. I think these are going to match up with the tires just perfect. These are a set of Injora Cling-ons. And from what I've heard, since I've never used the Cling-ons, these are actually a really good tire to use overall. And these are, again, in a 1.3 rim, 70 millimeter. I do have a set of 3D printed rims. These are Punch Monkeys that I got off of 24 Yep's page. And the ones I chose, the multi-spoke, and these are actually done in like a copper, but I do have another set that I could use in a multicolor filament. But those are the rims I'm going to use. They're a 1.3 8-spoke. So it's going to have a neat, unique look to it. And talk about the shocks. Now I do have a full set of 4 Injora Double barrel shocks. But I don't know that I'm going to use that at all 4 corners. That will come later in the testing. But I do have a set of stock Axial shocks. And I might use those instead or some combination thereof. As far as links go, I do have several sets of links from previous kits that were just kind of hanging around. So I'm going to be using some of those, but for the rear links, I bought this threaded rod. And this is where we're going to do a video on just this the setup, how I'm going to adjust the wheelbase, what wheelbase I'm going to finalize on, and then I'm going to use the threaded rod as my actual links. Next is a complete transmission. Now this was an aftermarket transmission, has plastic housing, a metal motor mount, but it's all metal gears and bearings. The company is RC Sajaya. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but it's a Chinese company that reproduces components for the SCX-24. Next is a Miuzei Servo. Again, this was one of the inexpensive pieces that I bought. It is a mini servo, metal gear, high torque, and it comes with a lot of extra components. Well, a lot of options as far as servo horns and screws and bolts. This is questionable. Not sure how well it's going to work. I don't have the specs yet. Once I get into that part of the build, I'll give a breakdown on the specs. Servo, check. Next on the list is the Injora MB100 Nano, brushed. I wanted something that was small, compact, and was capable of changing the parameters. This one fit the bill, plus super inexpensive. It's also Injora. It's kind of hard to argue with some of their stuff that they produce. As far as drive shafts, those are probably going to be a combination of some leftover ones I had from MEUS and Injora, and maybe even some stock axles, or or drive shafts. I might even add drive shaft extensions if they're not quite long enough. But again, we'll see once I decide on a wheelbase. The axles. The axles were a bit of a challenge because they were going to be super expensive for the ones I really wanted. Then I happened across a set of front and rears for really affordable, almost scary affordable. But they were so affordable that if I bought them and they didn't work well, I really wasn't out much, because they have a different style of carrier, but they are for the SCX-24. They have a worm gear setup. All of the hardware is larger than the stock hardware. So I found it kind of interesting. They're supposed to be 100 millimeters hub to hub. These remind me more of a Traxxas TRX4, but again, in a worm gear style. They are a plastic or nylon axle, but they've got some heft to them, so I'm really impressed with it. Plus, the rear comes with a multi-position upper link. So it had some advantages right off the bat. It does come with a servo mount. Problem: somebody doesn't know how to measure, because they said this will fit most servos. Most servos don't fit in this. There's about 1/10 of a millimeter that these are too narrow. So I'll have to modify this, or print my own, or something. Again, problem to work out later on. Now, with all those parts set, here's where I need a little help. I'm unsure as to what chassis to use. I want it to be something that I can print out. I have several of them actually printed out already. I have all three of the Mofo Hellraiser chassis printed out. So the X, the R, and the S, and all three of them are actually different. I've printed them out and lined them all up. I also have the Blockhead chassis, the Yep Spec chassis, 2 or 3 of those printed out, and another one, but I'm not sure what that one is off the top of my head. But if you have a preference as to which one of those to use, that will be the first thing to determine what my wheelbase ultimately will be, and kind of help narrow down what body I'm going to use. And as far as the body goes, that's another one I need your help with. I have several bodies that I've printed out that I'm kind of partial to. First is the Jeep. It's the one you've been seeing in a lot of my thumbnails. And I really kind of like that because I have a full-size Jeep JKU, and I kind of want to do something to match that, but I don't have to. I also have a BMW Unimog cab. I could print out, say, a flatbed or another sort of bed to go off the back of that, if that's what we all decide to do. Or I have 720 Datsun. Now, my brother printed this out from some leftover filaments that he had for me, and it's going to change color. But I do kind of like this because both the front and bed are both pinched. And this will help with some of the articulation. The only problem is it's a slightly shorter wheelbase body. And I wanted to kind of go with a bit of a longer wheelbase, but I don't absolutely have to. I can make it work. But these are some of the things that I need. Chassis, all three of the Hellraisers, the X, the R, and the S, the Yep Spec. So let me know down in the comments what you think I should be using for a chassis and possibly a body, and we'll go from there. We'll get this thing started. I think I've got everything. The other bolts, nuts, screws, that kind of stuff, I do have. That's not an issue. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to come out and how it's going to compete against whatever Mike at Just Try It DIY is going to do, because yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to compete at all. I don't think he knows how good this thing's going to turn out. He's got a lot to learn. So, thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe, and tune in to the next one.